Goody 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 everyone, this is Dayhawk, bringing to you episode 49 of Shaman King 2021. So, Redeem stabs Faust, and you assume both him and Apacho were instantly killed. But luckily, Apacho is safe, and Faust was able to heal himself. And this is where Faust goes on the attack and does his, oversoul. But unfortunately, he gets stabbed again. And in this final moments, Faust does a poem in honor of the eventual Fumbari Hot Springs Hotel or Spa. And as he is performing the poem, he attacks Redeem to the point where Redeem kills him, and that's the end. Faust is officially dead, and Yo says that we're not gonna let you say goodbye just yet, and you won't go to the other side. So something tells me that Yo has a plan. And so Yo enters the fray, attacks Redeem. They look like they're evenly matched, and giving their all, and he gives Redeem gives his ultimate oversoul attack. And here's the part where where it looks like he kills him, but not in the way you think, because as they clash, it looks like in this particular scene, Yo is hugging Redeem, and at the end he says his attack, and that's the end. This scene, this shot here is telling, because as you know, Redeem has, you could say, a fondness towards the boys, but he is bound by duty. He is bound to protect the king, in this case the Shaman King, Hao, and the Yo-Yos are trying to kill the Shaman King, and Redeem has no choice but to do his duty. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to kill him, but he knows that he's been put in this situation, and he has no choice. And all those boys know this. And in this shot, though, it's like Yo tells Redeem in his own way by a hug, saying, thank you. I understand that you've been put in this awful position, but we respect you and we love you, and we will revive you. We will revive you. And that's it, and you've seen this scene, the two bodies, which they're gonna leave at the lake for now, and they go to the next plant, but not before we see Faust and Eliza together, and you can see from his face that he's happy. At least he's with Eliza, and that he's happy. Now we get back to the kids with Red Sap and his little sister, who pretty much are in a suicide mission themselves, and they know that Mew is covered by this protected dome, and they need to blast their way through, and then hopefully get Hao and kill him, and that's their plan. They figure use the power of the golem to puncture a hole and move on from there, which they did. But here's the part where Things happen very fast. As they blast their way through the temple, we get the scene where Red Sap just wakes up and he figure, hey, did it work? Because we got knocked out. And the little sister said, no, that's not the case. We're already dead. And then, what makes matters worse, the spirit of fire just punches through, the golem. So my question to you is, what happened to the kids? Did Hal kill them? Or did something happen that caused them to die? Do you think it was the dome? I don't know what it is, but let's say Hal was the one that killed them. Then all of a sudden, we discovered the truth that, something is powering the golem aside from the pilot itself. And Hal mentions about your mom's soul will finally be free. And I'm guessing Hal figured out that Red Sap's mother, her soul is inside the golem, who it's powering up the golem. It's crazy. And then Golva steps in and decides to, destroy the golem, as it were. But with how surprised, as well as Golva, the golem still functions. And he figured, we need to get rid of the pilot, and the pilot is the little sister. And this is the most shocking part. The spirit of fire, you see in this scene that the spirit of fire has the little sister, and in the next scene you see her and get eaten by the spirit of fire. It was a suicide mission after all. And then we get to the plateau plant, which is all farmland, as you see, and Kareem is ruling the plateau. And here's the part that didn't make sense to me, because once Horo Horo saw Kareem, he ends up, full attack mode and decides to get Kareem, kill Kareem while he is doing his thing. But then Kareem uses his Horo Soul and just, like a bull, just tackles or gores Horo Horo. And then the next scene you see him, bandaged up with broken legs. And I'm not sure he was instantly killed, but either way, thanks to Faust. How exactly? Soul integration. Remember in early Shaman King, where the spirit, the shaman uses this oversoul thing to allow a spirit to go inside their body. In this case, Faust, he does his magic and Horo is okay, and Horo was in shock to see how the rest of the yo-yos are eating comfortably in Kareem's house. And Horo was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you, living lively at an enemy's home? And Ren pointed out, you're the only one who sees him as an enemy. And wow. And that's the thing. What is this sudden animosity towards someone who we all thought that you were buddy towards? Because Kareem was the one who was the the guy who did the test for Horo Horo to obtain the Oracle Bell. And we just saw them together when, they successfully went inside the Great Spirit, had the vision, and woke up. Horo Horo passed that test too. And you see him, not, punching each other, not punching each other in the face, but like doing like, oh yeah, you passed, So what's going on here? I feel like I'm missing something here. And then we get to see Horo, having this thing where he says, I came to settle this. And we get nothing afterwards. Like, what is this, what is this encounter at the campfire? What is this? What is it? And then we get to see Team Grand Hora doing their duty in terms of getting like all the elemental spirits, and they have been successful. They captured the spirit of rain, the spirit of thunder, and the spirit of wind. All that's left is the spirit of fire and the spirit of earth, which the leader of Grand Hora is gonna do herself. And I don't know how, because it looks like she's gonna battle this upper level demon, but she will be successful. But speaking of the spirit of fire, Red Salve and the spirit of fire comes in, and so after eating Red Salve's little sister, Hao gives a message to the little boy so he can tell Yo that, I'm waiting for you. Hurry up already. And he gives away the spirit of fire, saying that he doesn't need it anymore. And he doesn't, because he's going to merge with the Great Spirit. He doesn't need the spirit of fire anymore. It just serves its purpose, And then we get to this scene where, what happened, and Red Salve feels responsible, and he probably lost his little sister, but luckily Ren came in and said that as long as the soul lingers on, its memories can be used to restore the body. And there is a chance, because the Great Spirit holds the memories of everybody in the entire planet. And Yo said that, yeah, sure, the Great Spirit may help, but maybe there's another way. Because the 5 high spirits are reincarnation of the Great Spirit itself, and integrates the souls. In other words, the souls of everyone Hal killed are inside the spirit of fire. So I don't know how they're gonna do it, but the spirit of fire itself, since it ate a lot of souls, is the key to bringing them back. We just don't know how yet. And speaking of which, poor Mikihisa, he tried to dive in there, but Mikihisa, even you cannot go like ways deep into the bottom of the ocean. It's impossible, man. Not without help, and not without that submarine. So no luck there. And then we get this scene between Anna and Manta. Mind you, Manta appears and tells Anna that I convinced my dad to let me stay here. And here's the part where it's disappointing, because we never got the chance to see the confrontation between Manta and his dad. I wanted to see it and explain his actions, but we never did. And it's a shame. I would have liked to see that, and maybe see, the damage that he has done, and hopefully they will repair their relationship. Because let's face it, what the father did to Manta, like, it's just it destroys the trust. And I wonder if the father said that, I'm sorry for what I've done. I want to regain your trust and hopefully, restore, be a father to you, and, and vice versa. We never got a chance to see that. Maybe they did it off screen, but they didn't. I wanted to see that. It's disappointing. And then Anna gives a lesson about life and happiness. And this episode is all philosophical, because it's about happiness and death and life itself. And so she said that life itself is a battle, which is true. And here's the part where kind of like made me take a step back and really think about this. The harder you work for happiness, the more unhappiness there is. That's something I never been said to me and never realized. The more you work for happiness, the more unhappiness there will be. What do you guys think about that message? Is it true or not so true? What do you think? And then later on, during this conversation, she was talking about how is portrayed as the princess, the damsel in distress, who is been captured by the demon of obsession. And talks about as well that how is stubborn and stupid and been obsessed for over 1,000 years, but Yo has this believes that this guy, this person, after how many deaths he caused, he too can be saved. So we have to wait and see on that, but I know Yo will. And then we get to Kareem saying, hey, the beds are ready, and the kids just jump into their beds, all happy. And then back to Manta saying that he had a weird dream last night, saying that he heard Hal saying goodnight from the bottom of the sea. And then this final clip of Princess Hal and the yo-yos being the princesses and trying to save Hal, which, like, alright, okay. And then we get to see this next scene with Yo and Amir Maru, where Yo wakes up early and decides to, let's have a walk. We never had that since we started this tournament, so let's do it. And he talks about, death and life, and how it's important to live life and accept death. And he says it in a way as if this is going to be the last time you ever going to see me, because Amir Maru got that reaction. And he's like, Yo is like, well, yeah, because death, you can't run away from it, and whether or not I'm a part of this fight or trying to live that peaceful life that I always wanted to have, death is gonna get me sooner or later. All that I need to do is to live my life for the fullest. you know. And once that day comes, I'll be able to look back and say, you know what? I did try my best to live the good life up to this point, and I'm happy, and I have no regrets, you know. In this particular scene, it's very powerful because it's telling. Because he knows that the yo-yos are pretty much, this is a suicide mission. This is a suicide mission. And they don't know if they'd be able to come back from this. Even if they were to come back, you know, everything changes. These boys would not be the same. Better for worse, they're not going to be the same. And it's just like, you know, I want to live my life to the fullest. I know death is coming, and I will accept it. You know, it is what it is. And then the yo-yos come in. They thought that Yo was gonna go into the other plants by himself, and it wasn't the case, obviously. And they have this breakfast, and then Kareem comes in saying that, are you ready? And then Kareem and Horo Horo have this fight. And here's the part where Horo Horo becomes triggered. Kareem, after he uses two oversouls attacks, he calls him by his real name, and he gets really upset. Like, you could see in this shot how furious he is by the mere mention of his true name. Never ever call me that ever again. Never call me that. And that's the end. That's the end of the episode. What's the deal with Horo Horo? Why is he so angry? If not Kareem, just by somebody else who mentions his real name, he gets really fired up. I get the feeling that hopefully, which they will, in the next episode, the 50th episode, we will get some answers as to why he hates his own name. And we get answers as to why he's so, aggressive towards Kareem, saying that they have unfinished business. Because I'm sure, just like Redeem, Kareem doesn't want to deal with the fact that I may have to kill these people who, I met, especially Horo Horo, who I helped, stage the test and see him grow, and just out of sake of duty, he has no choice. He knows that either they go or I go. He knows it. But just like Redeem and everybody else, they're gonna get resurrected. It's just being in that position, it's gonna be really, really hard. Not all these patch members are necessarily, not saying evil, but just like, okay, I'm gonna kill you without having any feelings towards them. If it makes any sense. We never get a chance to see the talk between Manta and the dad, and that was disappointing. So, again, this entire episode was all about, life and death, happiness and unhappiness, all philosophical. But it's the Shaman King episode, so what do you expect? And for the episodes, for this particular episode, shocking after, what happened with the little girl and just in general, the children's death, just like, whoa, So what do you guys think? Have you guys seen the episode? If so, did I miss anything? Did you like the episode? Did you dislike the episode? And if so, how would you change it? And, give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And believe it or not, kids, we only have 3 episodes left. 3 episodes left. Jesus, I'm not ready for this. I'm not. But hopefully, up to the very end, once I do my mega review of both versions, hopefully I could do it justice and plead my guest on which version is better and would I watch it again, that sort of thing. Okay, guys, I have to stop here because I'll end up rambling, so I don't want that. Alright, kids, I'll see you all on the other side of oblivion. Thank you, and Johnny!